today's video, I give you a rapid fat loss protocol and I explain how best to use it.
All by myself.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com, and in today's video, we are going to discuss a rapid fat loss protocol and how to execute it. And if you're interested in nutrition, training, and how to have your best life, well, click subscribe because that's what we do here. In today's video, well, I just wanted to get into this topic of rapid fat loss protocols because I keep hearing about them so much. So I thought I would talk about what a little bit of the research says, and perhaps we can discuss a strategy that'll work for you. So by the end of this video, you are going to have a complete plan for how to get into a rapid fat loss protocol, what to expect, and then how to get out of it safely. And something I've been considering is running a transformation challenge. That's right. So us here at ProPhysique, we've been talking about perhaps sponsoring with some prize money a challenge. You see, we have coaches on staff that we do a lot of coaching. However, we've never run a transformation challenge. So if you would be interested in perhaps entering a 90-day transformation challenge to start sometime in 2020, comment below for me. If you're just here to find out the base numbers of what you need to do for a rapid fat loss protocol, if you go to ProPhysique.com, we've created something just for you. That's right, we have a calorie calculator. So you plug in some information and it's gonna give you the numbers for how to gain weight, how to lose weight quickly. But I wanna go into some of the details and the specifics of rapid fat loss protocols, what makes them work and what makes them not work. So when it comes to a rapid fat loss protocols, there's things that I really like about them, but there's also some things that are inherently kind of risky. I think the biggest risk that we run into with a rapid fat loss protocol is muscle loss or the loss of lean body mass, along with the adaptations that occur without us understanding them. Now, for most of my normal viewers, you guys are pretty familiar with the fact that our bodies adapt. That's right. As we lose body fat, as we lose weight, as we lower calories, our bodies adapt to that. That becomes the new normal. So most of us should understand that you can't simply just go back to eating whatever you want to eat after a fat loss protocol. We will get more into that. But let's talk specifically about muscle loss. There's been actually quite a few research studies on this that show that if you increase protein in a time of fat loss, well, guess what? You keep more muscle and you might even lose more fat mass over the same amount of time as somebody that restricts calories equally but doesn't take in as much protein. That's right, so protein is very powerful. We need to make sure we're taking in protein, but also if you're entering a rapid fat loss protocol and you're doing some type of resistance training, that is going to really help the benefit of lean body mass because we don't want to lose fat-free mass. That is not our goal. Sometimes the scale might not be our friend when we're doing a little bit of resistance training and eating protein, especially if that's not something we've done before. But I promise you in the long run, fat loss is gonna be actually better and you're gonna be healthier when it's all said and done. So what is the benefit of a rapid fat loss protocol? The one that I'm going to explain here in just a minute. Well, in my mind, the most powerful impact that it has is that it just resets our psychology. It resets our thinking. It changes our daily habits and our daily routines. It gets us excited. All right, we're all in. We're gonna be seeing some big changes on the scale. People are gonna be shouting our praises. Our clothes are gonna fit better. Heck, we might even have to go buy new clothes. Who here has gone to the store to buy new clothes when they've lost some weight? You know the lighting in those changing room mirrors is just fantastic, right? So that's why I think rapid fat loss protocols can be exciting because some of us don't want to think of fat loss as 3 months, 6 months, 2 years. Some of us just want to get in and get out. So a rapid fat loss protocol can actually set us up for a pretty rapid change, a big change in a short amount of time. But there are some things that I feel you need to understand before entering this. You need to make sure that you're keeping some kind of resistance training and keeping your protein high so that we're not losing fat-free mass or lean body mass or muscle. The second most important thing is that you need to hold yourself accountable. You need to create some accountability, whether that be telling your friends, telling your family, telling your wife, husband, brother, sister, uncle, your dog. Tell someone. so that they are constantly checking on you. If you have friends in the gym, if you have friends at work, maybe you can enter this together. This is where I got the idea for the Transformation Challenge. So again, if you're interested in that, please let us know, because it's gonna be a lot of work on our part, but we wanna provide it. But that's the type of thing that we wanna do. With a community around you and behind you, things get a lot different. You get buy-in from the people around you. Hey, Johnny, how's your fat loss going? Oh man, it's going great. You're gonna be more likely to say no to alcohol, no to late nights, yes to getting up early to working out, yes to eating the right foods when you need to, because you know what? Everyone's gonna be in with you. The community buy-in is so powerful. If you get your community to back you when you're working on a rapid fat loss protocol, it's gonna be great. And the final thing that I think we should talk about is you need to have an exit strategy. That's right. You need to understand, once we bring your calories down, what do we bring them back up to when we're done? Once we raise that cardio up, what do we bring it back down to when we're done? If you have an understanding of your nutrition and your training and your cardio, when this rapid fat loss protocol ends, the likelihood of success goes way up, because success is not going to be measured in the weeks of the fat loss protocol. It's going to be in the weeks after. Did you actually benefit from this, or did it just leave you in a worse place than you started? So now let's get into the nuts and bolts of a rapid fat loss protocol. So the first and most important aspect of a rapid fat loss protocol is that it has to create a caloric deficit. So I'm going to ask the people out there that are already focused on fat loss not to do this. That's right. You need to have a good base of calories to pull from, because if you don't, you're just going to end up being malnutritioned and put yourself in a very bad place. So for the people that are most likely going to succeed from a rapid fat loss protocol, it's going to be people that are either in a really good maintenance phase, or they've been bulking for a while, or maybe they're coming out of a period of eating where they didn't track, like the holidays, and we want to kind of jar the system. I would not recommend entering a rapid fat loss protocol if you're already kind of restricting calories and have been dieting for a little while. So now let's talk specifics. Let's start with protein. As I mentioned, protein is going to be vital for us to keep muscle and not lose fat-free mass when in a fat loss phase. The research, I'll post some da-da-da studies up here. There's tons of it. There's tons and tons of research that shows protein is beneficial. So what do we want to do? Well, there's many ways to go about this. But in my mind, if you are not obese, a great place to start is just set your protein at 1 gram per pound. That's right. I weigh 230 pounds. I like to eat 230 to 250 grams of protein a day. When I diet down, I don't move it. It stays there. So by the end of my diet, my protein ends up being quite a bit higher than my weight. But you see the point here? Protein is set around 1 gram per pound. Now, depending on your weight, if you're 100 pounds, well, guess what? That's only going to be 400 calories. If you're like me, 230 pounds is going to be closer to 1,000 calories. It's going to be relative. So we can talk about what's next. Now, fats are very important for hormonal function and a cascade of other things that we do not want to have go wrong. So I'm going to ask that our fats do not really go below 35 to 40 grams for anybody. That's right. Anyone that's below those numbers, those thresholds for me signify a dangerous place. Now, do some people eat less than that for short periods of time? Absolutely. But for this rapid fat loss protocol, I want to make sure we're doing the best to make sure our hormones and our muscle are safe. So what does that leave when creating a caloric deficit? You guessed it, carbohydrates. So we're going to take a person that's 200 pounds and we're going to say they're going to have 200 grams of protein, right? Now, we're going to keep their fats at 40 to 45 grams per day, and that leaves us with carbohydrates. So how low can carbohydrates go? Well, ideally, I'd like to see those carbohydrates for a rapid fat loss protocol be the biggest margin of change. Now, I've seen studies that have used as low as 50 grams per day using only vegetables. I think this can be a good way to kickstart the program just to really change our habits. But what I want to look out for is really a depletion of glycogen stores to the point where if you are in a resistance training phase, you're getting so depleted that you don't feel good in the gym. So we might actually be able to use a refeed strategy during this approach. But for general guidelines, I'm going to say 50 to 100 grams of carbohydrates. That's right. These are some pretty crazy numbers for a 200-pound person. But we're not looking for average here. We're looking for weight loss in excess of 1% body fat, 2%, maybe even 3% of the body fat per week, okay? So for a 200-pound guy, that might be 6 pounds per week of actual fat loss, not just weight on the scale, but we're trying to move some body fat off. I've actually done a video on how fast fat loss is possible. I'll put that in the first comment for you guys to watch if you want to understand the mechanics of that. So where does this leave us? This leaves us in a place where our calories are pretty low. The exit strategy needs to involve something I call a diet recall. That's right. What I would like you to do before you start this rapid fat loss protocol is track your diet for 1 full week. By that, I mean plugging everything you normally eat and drink into a macro tracking app like MyFitnessPal or MyMacros Plus or whichever one you want to use. You look at those numbers over the course of a week. You might be 1,800 calories one day, 4,000 the next, 22 the next, 2,500 the next. You get a baseline average. What we typically do is we maintain our weight because our hunger signaling is going to be related to our body fat set point. So on a day when you overeat, most people are going to actually undereat to kind of self-correct. This is where I would suggest we bring the calories back up to. That is going to be your maintenance prior to entering the rapid fat loss protocol. Now, perhaps there is going to be some adaptation and adjustment to your metabolism and overall well-being, depending on how long you've been in this rapid fat loss protocol, but I've got a solution for that. For every week that you are in a rapid fat loss protocol, reduce your calories that you had for maintenance by 10%. That's right. So if you do this rapid fat loss protocol and you're at 2,000 calories maintenance by the end after 4 weeks, well, expect to be about 1,600. And you can adjust from there. You go back up to 1,600 and see what happens. If you continue losing weight or you still don't feel good, bump it up to 1,650 or 1,700 and go from there. But you get the drift. There's going to be some adaptation. What we don't want to happen is for you to come out of this rapid fat loss protocol and end up overshooting and having those 4,000 and 5,000 calorie days that you would typically have after a low day or after a day when you feel a little bit light and you might think, well, today's a good day to eat more. We don't want that immediately after this rapid fat loss protocol because you're going to be in a position to store fat a little bit quicker than normal, and we can transition into a normal fat loss protocol. So what would that look like? What that would look like is if you take the diet, the maintenance numbers that you had from your diet recall and just create a 25% caloric deficit. From those, then we're gonna be in a place where we can actually lose some body fat. Now, that can be done through cardio, through diet. I still suggest keeping that protein where I said. I still suggest having those thresholds for fat. It can certainly go up from there. And using calories and cardio as the way to create that 25% caloric deficit. Well, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. I'm at a bodybuilding show in St. Augustine right now. I'm gonna make this video go live on Saturday. I hope you're having an awesome day. Check out the free calorie calculator on prophysique.com and you can see what your numbers might look like for our rapid fat loss protocol. Talk to you guys soon.